I laughed when I saw that. I was like, "Yep, that is true priorities,
Right.
and I applaud you."
Priority number one.
What comes
Priority.
first before podcasting? Pie.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're nice and full and ready. Johnny's not answering. Typical.
Typical. He's probably off reading, American Carnage and loving it, or he's loving reading the Wonder Twins.
Ah, I'm not even talking about it.
I know you went off to Malta instead because you were like,
Yeah, I
I don't
can't.
want to
I
talk
can't read
about
it.
Wonder Twins.
You know what I mean? I did read it. I did, but I didn't want to talk about it. So I was very happy that it turned out that I was in Malta.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome.
Oh man, that was just hard.
Yeah, you were so distraught being in Malta. So horrible.
It was lovely. It was quiet. We were in an older part. There wasn't big parties. It was fab.
That's one of my, because I went to Google and I used Street View just to look at Malta, look at the area, and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I want to go.
It's so pretty.
I've never, so full transparency, I've never actually left the States. I've never been out of the country before.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you a passport?
No, I don't even have that. I need to though.
Jesus, don't be one of those.
It's on the docket to get it.
Hmm.
If I wasn't just paying for legal shit out the ass, then I'd be
That's
able to
true.
afford to travel.
That would be very true.
Speaking of the wee one, he turns
Yay.
7 tomorrow.
No way.
He's 7.
That's big boy territory.
I know. I know. He was talking to me the other day and he goes, Dad, can I just say I like Super Mario Brothers? It's my favorite game. And I'm
Oh.
like, the side scroller side of me is just so excited.
I know, it's like he's mine. He's really mine. It's what I'm like when my niece and nephews talk to me about comic books or Star Wars.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm not even there and I have the influence.
Yeah, he is a hoot and a half. I'm excited for when he's out here over the
Anytime.
summer.
Is he coming over soon or?
I'm hoping so.
Cool. Johnny, you with us?
I am.
Yay!
We
Give
were
me two
just
minutes.
talking that
Take
you
your
were
time.
we were talking, we figured you were rereading Wonder Twins and loving it.
I wouldn't say I loved it. I'm okay with my place in the Wonder Twins
Or
Yeah.
generation.
or was
You're
it that
okay with your face.
or you were late because you were rereading all the metal books and you were loving those?
Are you trying to just annoy me?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to think what I'm
No,
saying.
annoying you would be saying the Dolphins are going to lose horrifically to the Patriots for the rest of your life. That's annoying and being rude.
I think annoying would be more so. Um, you should really never drop fishnets on Zatanna.
Wow. Okay. The Dolphins losing to the Patriots is a thing. Fishnets on Zatanna have dropped off because she's in Justice League Dark, and I'm not seeing nary a sight of a fishnet. So both of those things are happening. So that's just the way of life, I'm afraid.
It's
If you
forever.
really want to piss me off, you could turn around and say, um, Scott Lobdell has just been given Batman and Detective for a long run. There you
Ugh.
go.
Do you
No,
know what else
no,
can make your eyes hurt?
no. Here you
Giving
go.
their actual Batman character to that stupid Twilight dope.
Rob Liefeld drew Black Canary with no fishnets and horrible feet.
Ugh.
Oh.
Oh, of course, I've got that one. Sorry,
Take your time, honey.
I'm just setting something up for later.
Okay, okay.
He's got to get the big bottle of wine because we've already put him in a bad mood.
It's
I'm not
called.
in a bad mood. Actually, you two are gamers. You might be able to help me with this. I've got
I'm
this.
a tabletop gamer.
Okay, well, I've got a PS4,
Okay.
and I'm playing games on it,
Okay.
and it keeps flicking to a black screen, but the games keeps running. I've changed the HDMI cable, so like my TV only has like 2 HDMI slots, so I have to use like a splitter.
Okay.
So I've changed the HDMI cable from the PlayStation to the splitter, and from the splitter to the TV, and it's still doing it.
My initial thought is, well, that's what you get for having a PlayStation 4.
I'm coming to you to help, and this is what you're giving me.
It's probably the splitter, Johnny.
That's just me being a jackass.
It's
No,
probably the splitter.
I would say whatever your video settings are on the system, you may have it higher than what the TV can support. That's the only other thought. I mean, I don't know PlayStation 4's UI as much as, say, Xbox, just because Xbox is the system I use, and I don't have a PlayStation 4, so...
Here's the annoying thing. Last night I was using it to watch YouTube videos, and it didn't flicker once.
And it might be that the graphics in the game are too high for the graphics card in your TV.
No, because with consoles, they have it kind of optimized, so it doesn't react like PCs would.
Okay. Well, then I'm no use to you, because that's all the information I can give you.
I tell you what, Tracy, your help was more beneficial than you should have got an Xbox. You know?
True.
True. So it's fine.
But
I could have just played D&D like normal people, but no.
But you can't argue with my logic, though.
I can't spell D&D, so I'd be screwed.
You'd be screwed, and you can't do maths either. So you know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Okay. I have a quiz for us later.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
in your face. In your faces.
Oh.
Surprise quiz. Johnny,
and coming up.
Excuse me. This is my show.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry. I've got a quiz for you to use if you want to use it in your show.
I love how you said, I got a quiz for you. She says, this is my show. At which point you all of a sudden change gears. You know, I have a quiz if you'd like to use it. Mm-hmm. Is this asking for forgiveness and permission?
Well, we're talking about cartoon shows, so I think we should have a game of guess the theme. I think that's logical.
X-Men.
Are we singing them like?
No, I've got them all queued up on YouTube, ready to go.
Okay.
You know what?
I'm
good with this. And what I'll do is I'll make sure the audio guy takes detailed notes of what those themes are, so then I can do an overlay. I mean, the audio guy can do an overlay. So.
Oh, boys, it's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
we'll
5,
get this done.
You got to watch out for the audio guy. He's kind of a douche. Oh, and Tracy, we're going to have a running joke about the audio guy.
The audio guy.
Yep. In fact, because I told Al about it, that I want that to be a thing across all the network. And he goes, you should probably let Freddie know so that we're not making fun of him.
Oh, gosh.
So I text him and he's like, nah, I figured it wouldn't have been me. But thanks for letting me know.
The interesting people that we have to deal with. Don't want to upset anybody's delicate, bits.
Don't get me started on some of our wonderful snowflakes.
Well, I would just wish some of our other friends would stop poking the snowflakes and starting up rubbish again. But, I know. Some presenters will never learn.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been kicked?
Oh, Banff is... okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rant here for a minute because...
Before we start recording, let's get it all out in the open.
Okay, so you know me, if one of the reviewers or whatnot kicks the hornet's nest, that I'm going to be watching their social media like a fucking hawk. Well, fucking Banff he's a dumbass. I'm just going to come out and say he's a dumbass. I have had to turn on notifications for whenever he tweets to make sure that he's not kicking the hornet's nest. The dumbass is getting so politically charged that I'm like, oh my God, if I get one more notification that you're talking shit about Trump, I'm going to lose my shit. My hell. I don't.
I have to be honest with you. I thought he was a dumbass, and I thought, oh, he's just a young kid who doesn't know any better. I think he is a very, very manipulative, sly guy. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I know. And my little public service announcement when I'm like, no, none of you are doing this. And then what does he do? Sorry, I'm the one stirring the shit. I'm like, I didn't say any was doing it, but sure.
But it was pretty obvious who it was.
I'll say right now, we're not recording, so I'll say this right now. Banff is my least favourite person ever. I swear to God. If people are kicking the hornet's nest, they should just leave. On the top of that, he also, not that I've got anything against them, but he keeps bigging up Sirens of Sequential. Fine, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But they diss us at every opportunity, and you're like, I'm trying to be civil and nice to people and stuff, but don't turn around and call the people that I work with, and then one of those people applauds them. It's like, are you insane? You moron! It's like, if you've got a difference of opinion, leave, move on, get gone. It's like, I seriously don't get it.
The last time he got it all up in Comicsgate shit and all of that, I sent Al a message. I'm like, I'm literally on that line of telling him, hey, I hear there's an opening with the Sirens of Sequential. Good luck in your future endeavors.
It can go for me, like, absolutely.
I would agree. As a person, I think he's a nice kid, but he doesn't belong on CC at all. To me, he feels like a mole.
So there was one time he ripped into me because I didn't edit his show right. And it's because he didn't send me the right stuff. So he rips into me, sends me this huge text message ripping me a new asshole. Well, I see it first thing in the morning. So I'm like, okay, first of all, one, calm your tits. Two, this is what you gave me. And I showed him the email, like I screenshotted it. And I'm like, so don't get your panties in a bunch and rip me a new asshole because you were too damn stupid to make sure that I, had everything you wanted. And I'm like, so moving forward, you will give me exact start times. He's actually the reason we have the forum because of him. I'm like, you will give me exact start times, end times, and he breaks in segments, and you need to provide any and all additional stuff you want in there. Furthermore, if you do this again, I will not edit your shows. You will be responsible to edit them yourself, and you will be responsible for all social. I am not touching your stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so... Yeah, I felt bad for his wife. I really do feel bad because he's going to get swatted. He's gonna piss someone off so bad that what happened to Peter Samedi is going to happen to him, and I'm going to sit there and go, well, that's what you get, dumbass.
Dumbass.
So, yeah. Okay, rant is done. I've been able to get that off my chest. I appreciate both of you.
No problem. Johnny, do you want to add to it? I know you do have some deep feelings.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
This is called Sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. We are the safe place.
I'm all for everyone having a different opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right or anybody else is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But if you know full well that by doing something you're going to cause people shit, and you still go ahead and do it, that is a higher level of arrogance.
That's a proper dick move.
What you said. It's like when Dusty went all ape shit on something. You're like, and he tweeted Dusty. I was like, what are you doing that for? I don't even agree with you, and now I've got to put up with you. So piss off. That that was the one time I said to Al, it's either him or me.
Did you?
I don't like doing that because it's bullshit. It's a dick move. But I was like,
it's a PDM, proper dick move.
I'm like, I'm not having people speak for me, and especially when I disagree with what they're saying. So sort it, or I'll just walk because I can do that. I'll just distance myself and just write for somebody else. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not as if like it's like people know my name now, so it's a case of it's up to you. I wasn't quite as dick about it. I'm in a bad mood because I'm not PlayStation.
Not quite.
So, but it's the professor doesn't like him either at all. So one of the things, if you listen back to those No Price podcasts, there's a toleration that is in there.
We're professionally tolerant.
For me, like I love doing the nerds on words, but I just hate how he runs it, and I've said it to him multiple times. I'm like, dude, you don't even sound like it's not a podcast you're running. It's not. And he's like, I don't understand what you mean. And then I'm like, oh, just stop talking. And then the last book,
that's what his wife said. I don't understand what you mean.
But then he started talking about all the social justice bullshit, and I kind of lost it a little bit. I don't know if you heard it in the pod. Like, I was like, listen, we don't talk about that shit anymore. We're talking about comic books and geek books and novels. That's all.
Just to go back a conversation, this PS4 issue that I've had.
Yes.
Yeah, it was working fine last week, and I haven't changed any of the hardware. So.
You didn't do a software update?
No, it's had no updates on nothing.
Let me look here.
It's fine. It's fine. Right, let's pod. Come on.
Let's do this shit.
Let's pod. Who's recording?
Well, I've got mine going, and then we'll have Tracy as a backup.
I'll be a backup.
All right, cool. So that means I am disavowing myself of any forms. I'm not doing any notes on what times it starts or anything like that.
I don't do any of that either. I'm terrible.
So the sound guy can go and bite me.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to notify the audio guy about that.
Please.
Yes. All right, I'm started recording now. No, yay. So, yeah, all in running jokes. What else are we putting in?
Quiz.
Quiz, okay.
I'm actually kind of cool with the whole quiz idea.
Sound quiz jokes and the sound quiz. No, start again, Tracy. Sound guy quips, and then we're having a quiz at the end.
Just do me a favor whilst you're recording.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play something through YouTube and see if you guys pick it up, because otherwise it's all a bit bonk.
Then.
Can you hear that?
It's the sound of silence.
Can you not hear anything?
No.
Nope.
Really?
Really?
Oh, I can hear it in my headphones. Why can't you hear it?
Because we're not wearing your headphones.
Oh, right.
Oh, damn. I was so hoping we'd get off, for fuck's sake.
What?
God damn. I was all excited.
What are we going to do now that we don't have a quiz?
Shut up. I'm fire.
Boys. Oh.
Right, okay, then. I'll tell you what.
What?
Pause that then. I don't need that. It just so happens I've got my phone with me, so let's see.
If we can hear the phone in the background.
Yeah. And then you can do your thing if you need to, can't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Helps if I don't turn the phone off. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
That was loud.
Can you make out what it is?
Yeah, Despacito.
Hold on, please. All right, so basically what's going to happen is I'm going to have to try and get these keyed. So, Josh, there's going to have to be some funky editing going on because I can't play them one after the other. Is that all right?
There was a lot of whooshing sounds in the back there now.
Yeah, the whooshing before hearing that it was Despacito, I was like, oh. There's worse songs you could have picked.
Hey, we're all into what we're into, okay?
They're just on my playlist. What can I say?
All right.
All right, then. Will we start rocking and rolling then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, get comfy, lads. Everybody got their drinks?
Yep. I got my water.
Me too. Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was sipping at the time.
Yeah. Wasn't water, don't know.
No, it's comfort.
Woo! Okay, do count in. So, in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome once again to our wonderful show. You have me here today again, just Tracy. And I am with my dynamic duo, my beautiful boys, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Hola.
Hi, how are you, darling?
I'm very well. How are you?
I am good. And we also have the random dude, Josh.
Oh, hi.
Hey. How's it going?
Oh, it's going. Don't mind me, just the boy wonder over here.
Hey, I was wondering which one of these would get in there first.
Well, you know, Batman is obviously older, so we know who took that role.
Wow.
You're grounded.
You're grounded. The thing is, though, are you going to be dick?
Oh, he's a dick, all right. Yeah. Just like that audio guy. Man, that guy bites.
Oh my God, the audio, sound guy. Let's not talk about that.
There's some harbor feelings against the audio guy. He's kind of a douche. You know, he does he's a pro at a PDM or proper dick move.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
audio guy.
Well, as most of you listeners have kind of guessed from our last podcast, the Dynamic Convergence is now doing both DC and Marvel. And it was quite enjoyable the last day. We had some nice new guys coming with us, the FNGs, as we like to call them, the effing new guys. But today it's just us, you know, a bit more of a chit chat between good friends, people who have some really good ideas and opinions. And today we're going to be discussing animated series, from everything from the start to the end, to new Teen Titans, to, you know, X-Men, to some of the original Spider-Man, to Swamp Thing. Oh, I could go on for days. But I think you guys should be the ones to go first this time. So, who wants to throw in their favorite animated series?
Well, we'll kick this off.
Whoa, Robin, you just back your heels up there.
I was just going to say, age before beauty. Take it away, Johnny.
I
am a big... Are we doing all-time favorite? Are we going historical? What's the...
This is about you and your all-time favorite.
All right, okay. So, without a shadow of a doubt, you've got to go with Taz, which is Batman.
Yeah.
The animated series.
Yeah.
Then the Batman, which I think is massively underrated. Young Justice, Rocks, the 67 Spider-Man, Wallop and Web Snappers.
Mm-hmm.
Always good for grins. Well, there you go. I think that pretty much covers it. Just there's loads. It's hard to turn around. it depends on your mood, because, if I'm feeling really freaky, it's Thundercats, because Chitara's hot as anything, right?
It's Thundercats to go, so you got to do it.
Oh, Thundercats up going ho.
Well, we get away with saying ho in that aspect,
A couple of duds. I'm sure we'll talk about them in the later on in the pod, but the Spider-Man show that came out about the same time as Batman the Animated Series, where you're not allowed to kick anything or punch anything. Bonkers. And I will say, I'll go out on a limb, I'm not a big fan of the X-Men cartoon.
That was a PDM. Oh my hell.
You just dropped the mic there.
We'll get into it. We'll talk about specifics, I'm sure, but we'll get into it. There you go.
Okay. Well, Josh, how can you come back from that? What do you love and what do you hate?
Okay, so I absolutely love, I agree with Johnny as much as it kills me to have to agree with him after that. Batman the Animated Series, but specifically seasons 1 through 3. When they shifted the art style, I was kind of a little unsure of that. X-Men is up there. That was my true introduction to Marvel. The 90s Spider-Man cartoon, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Johnny, I don't care what you say.
Oh no, I might hurt something. There's a rule that says you can't disturb pigeons. Just saying. So when he lands on a building and he's not allowed, the pigeons aren't allowed to move, because that would be cruel to animals. I kid you not. Well,
regardless, I love that cartoon, and I don't care who shits in your Cheerios. I do agree that Batman was very underrated. It's fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Batman Beyond. I'm a huge fan of that. Always have been, always will be.
Sure.
And I also enjoy watching Super Friends from the 70s.
Right, I'm gone. See you later. Mic drop. Bye.
It is so. Hear me out. I enjoy it because it is so stupid. It's fun. So I admit the fact that it is campy. It is horrible writing, horrible animation, but it's still fun to watch.
I think it's of its time, though. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to be okay with that.
It's if it wasn't for Super Friends, we wouldn't have like Batman and Robin. To tie in.
And there was lots of spin-off from that as well with other characters. So
there was and there was even like the Superpowers collection where they released a whole bunch of like VHS tapes of like 3 or 4 episodes for each character. There was Batman, there was Superman, there was Superboy. I mean, I have Batman and Supermans. I have those on VHS, but
they have like a Tarzan one as well. Or was that me just being crazy?
No, you're talking about the is it Lou Sherling and Friedling's studio that did things like Tarzan, that did Flash Gordon.
See, I knew I wasn't going crazy.
Late 70s, early 80s stuff.
Yeah, stuff, yeah.
Space Sentinels, they also did.
Mm-hmm.
They did a whole range of that type of Saturday morning TV.
Yeah.
Which we used to get at tea time for some crazy ass reason, which is 4 through 6. They did that whole style and you'd use the sort of like repeat animation to move things along. Flash Gordon was always running somewhere. Tarzan was always swinging and diving somewhere.
Yeah, I remember the Tarzan one really well. Yeah. Like the same swinging background.
Yeah.
But hey, if Disney can do it, everyone can do it.
Well, just to back up Josh, I've got that Superpowers collection on DVD. Where it's like you get like a Hawkman cartoon, you get a Green Lantern cartoon.
Yeah, I mean those were awesome. And in Batman, Adam West was actually voicing as Batman.
Voicing it. Yeah, I remember that.
And they had Casey. I wanted to say Casey Kasem, who was the voice of Robin.
But you've got to bear in mind that Casey Kasem Robin wasn't with Adam West. Adam West was with Burt Ward in the New Adventures of Batman.
No, Casey. Oh my hell! I keep wanting to say Case Keenum. Son of a bitch. Just trade him already.
Well, didn't you get thingy? What's his name? Haven't you signed Joe Flacco?
They can't discuss the terms of that just yet. Either way, Football Reference. It happens with us.
Oh, boys.
But I think the other. Actually, before I say another cartoon, I want to hear what Tracy's ours.
Yeah.
Me? Well, yes. Obviously, the animated series, Batman was one of the first things that I remember really enjoying about the Batman series. I remember in the early 90s, there was the Swamp Thing TV show, and I just loved everything about that because it was my kind of thing, because I wasn't really into the mainstream stuff then. Nowadays, and I know it sounds a bit silly, but I love superhero like the girls, my niece.
Yeah.
And I watched it with my friends. They're 2 kids. They love it. DC superhero girls. It's fantastic. Then obviously there was some of the other silly ones growing up that I really enjoyed. Let me think of the one I had. I had written down one that I said I have to really remember this. I know I've forgotten it.
Captain Planet.
Crypto, the Wonder Dog. But the cartoon, do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. I remember being really small, just eating cereal, watching that in the evenings before I went to bed. And then with Marvel, like, obviously, X-Men was the thing that brought you in for me anyway. My brother was big into Spider-Man, so we would have kind of watched the later kind of mid-90s Spider-Man. There was even the Silver Surfer that was on, I think it was an ABC or a Fox. It was a Fox Silver Surfer cartoon. I think there was only like one season of it.
Yeah.
That we got over here.
Yeah, and that Fox style of animation, they did like an Iron Man show, they did Fantastic Four,
yeah.
Did they do a Doctor Strange?
I don't remember Doctor Strange, but there was definitely, because obviously having the Silver Surfer one, it was like, oh yeah, man. And that kind of got me into that, looking at Fantastic Four in a different light. But then we got crappy movies, and that made me very sad. So I just went back to reading comics.
We talk about Fantastic Four. There's that French one, that French anime style Fantastic Four that came out in around 2000s. That was canny, one season, but it wasn't great. It wasn't sucky. So.
It wasn't great. It wasn't sucky.
I think what makes me laugh.
They did an Iron Man that as well, didn't they? Did they do a couple of?
They did, yeah.
The French TV guys. They made a few of the different. It was a bit weird.
Well, and most of the Marvel cartoons always had to have Stan Lee do some sort of introduction, which
yes,
which I thought was unique.
Friends. Hey, true believers, you won't believe what's happening now Stan.
But he never did anything for X-Men. If you go back, Stan Lee never did any sort of intro or anything like that for X-Men. He did it for everything else except for that one.
Well,
that's an interesting one.
I have a theory about this. There's a book about Marvel history, and the guy that was the producer on the X-Men cartoon, is it Avrid? Someone Avrid?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, he was bought in from working on some of the different projects, and the X-Men became more his cup of tea. And it was kind of like, as the book reads, Avrid and Stan didn't get on. And Stan always thought Avrid was trying to encroach. He was because at that time Marvel properties were starting to kick off, weren't they? With the cartoons and the movies were just around the corner. And Stan Lee had been working since like the 70s trying to get live action movies started, he wasn't doing anything. They're bringing a pinch hitter in, the boom, it kind of goes up like that. So I don't know if there's some sort of back office politics around there, but it's certainly implied if you read the book by Sean. I can't remember. It's Sean Howe.
It's okay. We'll find book. We'll put the link underneath in the description so people can read all the various conspiracy theories that we all love about the Marvel and DC world.
Now, I may be wrong because I'm looking at the IMDb for the show. They're saying he was in it, but I never remember him being in it.
Who?
Stan Lee.
In the X-Men.
Yeah, I never remember him being in X-Men.
The only time he'd been in the X-Men was when Spider-Man and his amazing friends visited the X-Men campus.
Okay, and that was like at the end of the run when they kind of had the...
Because they'd always do the intros, wouldn't it? Be like, hey, true believers, this time around, Firestar's going back to her school of blah, 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 blah. And that's probably what it relates to if we dig a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Because that's, maybe did he not do the voiceover for Pride of the X-Men, which was the trailer?
No, he was just the supervising producer on that. That one, I wish that one could have gone further. That one looked awesome. Not to say that the 90s X-Men wasn't cool, because it is.
It isn't.
But Pride of the X-Men would have been...
Isn't.
Johnny?
Sorry.
No dick move.
Yeah, don't be a dick, Johnny.
We're talking Marvel here. If we'll put it this way. If we don't have any PDMs... I won't make you watch the Fantastic Four reboot with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh.
Okay.
I feel sorry for that franchise.
What the hell? I'm gonna go in hard. All right.
That's
Wolverine.
what she said.
Yeah. Wolverine. That's great. This is a dude that's got claws, adamantium claws. He never cuts anybody, never stabs anybody, never does anything with them. Maybe chops a cigar, but you can't chop a cigar because you can't smoke because it's a kids' show. What's the point of having Wolverine in that cartoon? He does nothing other than argue with people.
That's me. Why he was.
I can be the X-Men. I've got no claws. I don't need to use them.
No, he was the brooding, cool bad guy. That's a good guy.
I always loved how there was a super bright flash. The bright flash whenever the claws would come out. I don't know why that was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was good. There was good, sound engineering on that.
They obviously had a decent audio guy.
Exactly. Better than their guy.
Yeah, can we just get their audio guy? Apparently, he's well liked.
Yeah.
But there's a load of anime X-Men movies and Marvel anime movies, like proper kind of. There's a Wolverine one. There's obviously Blade because that kind of came from all of that anyway, and a full-on X-Men like anime, which I haven't seen, but I really want to hunt down.
Well,
I'm not a big anime fan, but I'd say it'd be awesome.
Well, I've seen it. I've seen a couple of the X-Men shows, the anime ones you're relating to. I've got to be honest, I'm not sure how the Marvel properties work as well. As you think it should be a perfect mix. But if you take on board the Punisher Black Widow animation movie that was out, it's like, it's that, but extended even more. So the girls are always like, big breasted and all that, and Wolverine's like 6 foot tall and all that sort of stuff. It's like really, really, it's going for the anime sort of action piece without the script. If you talk about X-Men, I don't think you get much better than X-Men Evolution.
Evolution, I enjoy it. Yeah.
I think, but then the movie. Then they did Wolverine and the X-Men. This is the problem with Marvel cartoons for me, is that when something does well at the movies, they change everything around, right? So they had Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes as a cartoon. Then the movie did well. Then they stripped it, cancelled it, and did Avengers again. And then Black Panther's done well, and now it's called Black Panther Avengers. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Even the Spider-Man cartoon that was the Ultimate Spider-Man has now been dumbed down and retread. So now he's back at school his aunt's really cool and all that sort of stuff to match what's going on with the movie.
And didn't they put Deadpool in that too?
I think they have to put Deadpool in. I think it's a thing now.
Whereas DC, I remember when The Batman started, the idea was it was hot on the heels of Batman Begins. Yeah, and they said we're going to show Batman at his younger self before he knows everything, and that's exactly what you get. But there's no direct parallel between the Batman cartoon and Batman Begins.
No.
And the same with Batman the animated series. There's no direct link other than the Batmobile, which looks like the Batmobile from the movies when it's in its shielded form. Catwoman is blonde, and the Penguin. Everything else.
Penguin. Yeah.
Everything else is just pure, like, let's take it from the comics and let's run with it. In fact, you could even argue that the Riddler, who walks around in a suit, jacket, and a hat, is more 1966 Batman than it is anything else.
Yeah, like from High Diddle Riddle.
Stuff, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think DC, the difference between DC and Marvel is that DC won't throw, oh look, this is really good. Let's put this in everything. Yeah, and it's like, well, that's not what we want. Superman the animated series was fantastic, and there was no movie to go along with that.
No, just a shitty ass video game.
So it was very much like, oh, Batman animated series is working really, really well. Why don't we do Superman? And that's it.
Yeah.
That was it. There was no sort of like.
Well, it was because of how good Lois and Clark was doing, and they thought, hey, let's put Curse.
Let's put a curse on it. But I think that's the kind of thing that we kind of have to watch out for, is that Marvel, and I suppose this goes with the books as well as the cartoons, can be a little bit trend focused.
Yes, very much so.
Where DC can kind of weather the storm a little bit. I don't see them doing knee-jerk reactions to things. Is that a fair parallel to make?
I would agree.
I would agree. Yeah, I would completely agree. I think as well, we're so used to Marvel being the big movie people, so we kind of assume that DC is going to be better at the other bits. Well, and I don't know if that's just me.
No, I was going to state that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is kicking DC's ass. However, DC's animated department is wiping the floor with Marvel. I mean, we have not only in the animated series that we have on TV, but their animated movies as well. They're just it's top notch.
Yeah, and they're animated movies coming from their animated TV shows, so they're running feature lengths because they know there's a certain arc that they can't run on their TV show, so they make it into a cartoon, or they make it into a movie version, but it's still animated. I love it. I know you guys keep rolling your eyes when I say the DC superhero girls, but
I like that franchise.
It's such a good show to showcase what they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. They have gone from having the show and having the comic and having the movies, the straight to TV movies, and and then going for something bigger and tightening up the animation in it because it was a bit sloppy at the beginning, and they really listened to people and what they wanted from that, and they're churning out a really good series that's bringing in an awful lot of new and younger fans.
Yeah, the one show that the DC has that I'm not a fan of is Beware the Batman. the nothing but computer generated. I mean, yeah, we get Professor Pig in it, but just the way that they design Batman, no.
It's very angular.
It is, and I don't.
To a high degree of angular. You're right.
Yeah. And there's a few like that as well. I think when they try and mix various different types of animation, sometimes it will work, and other times it really, really doesn't. But they've made it, and there's nothing they can do, so they kind of just have to run with it.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
I think
shame.
that kind of happened with that series.
It's a shame that it was so stylized, because the style obviously put a lot of people off. But towards the end of the show, from about episode 15 onwards, it really found its feet story wise. But it's whether or not you can put up with the animation if you don't like it.
Yeah.
If we talk about animated, completely CGI, I will have to give out a shout to my wife's favorite one, which would be the Green Lantern, the animated series, which she absolutely loves. And
Mrs. H, what are you doing?
it's a good show, don't you knock it?
I can't knock it. I've never watched it.
I'm not a fan in
Oh,
general.
you don't like Green Lanterns, that's why.
Yeah.
You're not a Green Lantern fan, but
No.
I've got to give us some credit. We're walking around the Redcar High Street today. Oh, sorry, it's called Redcar for those that don't live around here. Redcar. And there was a dude wearing a Green Lantern t-shirt, and he looked like he'd probably never seen a comic book or anything. So I said to my wife, "Can you name 3 Green Lanterns?" And she came up with Jon Stewart, Jessica Cruz, and Hal Jordan. I was like, "Wow." Well done.
Did you fall in love with her all over again?
I did. I was like, "Wow, Jon Stewart, well done." Pull that one out.
Well, I could be like Jessica Cruz because that's who everybody loves. She's the hot one.
She is the hot one. And she's making her animation appearance, first appearance in the new Justice League Fatal 5 movie.
Ooh.
There you go.
Are you looking forward to that one then?
Well, hopefully she'll be a bit better animated than she is in DC Supergirls, because that's just wrong.
She would be great in the Injustice game.
She's in the Injustice game on your mobile. If you're playing it, there you go.
How'd you find with the?
We're talking console here.
It's still animated style, but how about your characters in I'm not a gamer, as everybody knows. I play tabletop games, but you guys are gamers. How would you find the DC and Marvel gaming animation?
Josh, you can go first. You're the gamer expert.
Okay. I would say DC's got. I can't say that because.
Of course you can. You can say what you want.
Well, no, because I was going to say DC has the upper edge on that, but I can't because Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 looks absolutely phenomenal. I would say they're pretty much equal, depending on the genre of the game. You look at the Injustice games and the way that NetherRealm Studios has designed the characters is unique for that world that they've created, but they do a really, really good job with it. On the flip side of that, you look at Marvel versus Capcom and how they designed the Marvel characters in that game. It's a different style of game, but it works because that's how that game has always been. So from a gaming perspective, I can't say that one is better than the other. But if I have to be biased, I would say DC has the upper edge just because the Arkham games were phenomenal.
I was just about to chime in there. The only video games that I have played that are Marvel or DC related was many moons ago. There was a X-Men game that was out.
X-Men Legends?
Legends, that's what it was called.
That one was fun.
That was fun, and I didn't play a lot of it because I'm not a gamer, and it was in my friend's house. But I remember sitting and actually enjoying watching my friend playing Arkham Knights because it was like following a story.
Oh, and the stories on that have been phenomenal.
It was just amazing. And again, it was because of the animation. It was just it just pulled you right in. And it felt like you were seriously watching a TV show. It's the only time I didn't moan at my friend for playing games while I was in the house.
Fair enough. I want to hear
Fair enough.
Johnny's thought, though.
Well, all cards on the table. Today, I traded in my PS4 Arkham Spider-Man City Asylum game and swapped it for Injustice 2. And I call it Arkham Spider Batman City whatever because it's exactly the same game. It looks pretty because it's Spider-Man, but it's the same game practically. So I agree with you that DC have the edge, mainly because they did it first and everybody else is copying them.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I go on that. That said, Spider-Man 2, the one based on the film, my kids used to love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still one of the best sandbox type games. For those of you who aren't gamers, when I refer to games as sandbox, it's open world. So being able to do what you want, when you want, and how you want.
Now.
So
is there any animation series that, or even an episode that has stuck with you guys that you remember it and you're like,
right,
I remember that so well.
So I remember the one that Josh, you want to go first? I just want to gather my thoughts on this one because I don't want to. I just don't want to.
I'll take this while you get yourself under composure because we don't need the audio guy going, "What the hell, Johnny?"
Yeah, spit it out, man.
My favorite episode from Batman the Animated Series. Now I know I said that my favorite was in seasons 1 through 3, but
don't you dare say what I think you're going to say.
This is in season 4. Legends of the Dark Knight, where you've got the 3 kids telling their variation on who they think Batman is, and you have the reference to the 60s style, or from that genre. You have Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. That particular segment was my absolute favorite for a couple of reasons. One, it's the first time we get to see an animated version of Frank Miller's version of Batman. 2, we have Michael Ironside, who's the voice of Sam Fisher in the Splinter Cell games. He played Jester in Top Gun. He was the voice of Batman. And with his low voice to tell the mutants that he's on an operating table and Batman's the surgeon, gives me chills every time. It was just one of those wonderful, wonderful episodes that I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Wow, Johnny.
Did
I steal your thunder?
No, not at all. I'm just trying to think of the one that I can't remember what the title of it's called. I've got a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
I've got from Batman the Animated Series, it's got to be Over the Edge. And if anyone hasn't seen this one, this is the one where
is that where Batgirl dies?
Yeah, Batgirl dies.
Oh yeah.
Batgirl dies.
That would have been probably the one I would have picked.
And I think everything that goes on from that point of view after that is just immense. I think it's really, really good in how that works. It's the Batman that I want to see. I want to see Batman going against the. I want to see Batman go against the police. He's a vigilante. He's not sanitized, and you get to see everything in this. You get to see the relationship between Tim and Bruce, because Tim idolizes him. It's just a really good episode, even though the ending comes out of nowhere. You think that's how good the episode is. It's such an obvious ending to have, but you get so wrapped up in the story, you forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're so enthralled in what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And And when you think about it, you're like, oh man, how did I miss that? But you do, because the story is so good. And the other one that sticks with me, I really like, it comes as no surprise here, the Black Canary Huntress episodes in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple. So you've got Double Date, where it's Green Arrow and Canary versus Huntress in the Question, which is really,
Don't
really
you just
good.
love like Green Arrow and Black Canary, like their little quips
I do.
in the animated series? I always thought
Yeah.
that was really funny. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they love each other. It's like a real relationship, the way they talk to each other and take the piss and slag each other. I just thought, oh,
And Grudge Match,
oh God.
which is where all the Justice League girls are getting brainwashed by the little communicators to have the meta brawl. So there you go. And plus, you know what? I love the question. The question in Justice League Unlimited is brilliant, especially when he's trying to have like flirty phone calls. The Huntress is all like, "What you wearing?" He's going, "Jacket, fedora." She's like, "You suck at this." He goes like, "Yeah, but orange socks." To be fair, I think it's easier when it comes to Batman the Animated Series to turn around and say which ones don't work. Yeah, and Batman in My Basement. What the frack is that all about?
Batman in My Basement.
And the Terrible Trio, the animation just doesn't work at all. It looks rushed. It looks awful, which is a shame because in The Batman, the Terrible Trio come back when it's Batgirl and Batman, and it works much better as an episode for whatever reason. So it's kind of getting there. That's it, really.
Oh.
My hate about the X-Men cartoon, as I've said, Wolverine's claws. Dark Phoenix.
Shut up! That's what I was going to say is my favorite.
Really?
Shut up, you.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say it.
When Jean Grey loses her shit and she becomes the Dark Phoenix, and it just all of a sudden her hair is darker and her eyes are darker and she's a badass bitch. It makes no sense whatsoever. I loved it.
But she's not the Black Queen. That's what I'm saying. She should be the Black Queen, but because it's a kids show, they can't do that. No, if they can't do that, don't put it in.
But
move on. Why?
No, because it made sense.
If you look at Batman the Animated Series versus the X-Men Animated Series, how many Batman episodes are based on actual comic books? And you'll find there's something like 20%.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at X-Men versus original stories versus comic book, it's the other way around. Yeah. Now, and I've said this before on loads of times, if you're going to release a movie, an animated movie or a TV show, and you're calling it original, but it's based on a book, it's not original. So every time DC says the all-new original Dark Knight Returns, based on the Dark Knight Returns, it's not an original movie.
No.
I've already got that story, thanks.
Yeah, I've seen that before, yeah.
Yeah. So the X-Men animated show is that. It's like, oh, let's do the Savage Land story. Oh, let's do the Genoshan story. Oh, let's do Dark Phoenix. Oh, I know what we're doing.
Shut up, you.
You're like, oh, man, you know what? I've seen it. And you know what? When I read it in the book, the art was better. At least in the book, Wolverine stabbed somebody.
There was also a really good arc where they done a semi-origin of Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's my favorite ex-person because she's motherfucking nature. You know what I mean? And like, I don't
Tempest winds, give me the strength to take on my enemy.
You're being really mean right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She's gonna come over there and she's gonna like.
I'm just gonna like give Mrs. H a little text to be like, will you just slap him over the head for me?
Excellent.
But what I do, something that they absolutely loved, and it's a more recent, was the Constantine City of Demons.
So help me out with this.
Loved it.
Because you would, but I was going to watch this, and my wife watched it first, and she went, "But this is based on the TV show. I've seen this on the TV show already."
But that's based on the book.
But then, so it's not an original movie. So why should I waste my time? I've already seen it.
Because the animation's great.
Okay.
And it's another thing to, and it's the same. It's Matt doing the voice, and it's him, and it's like.
It's he's in Legends. I'll just watch him live. It's fine.
I really enjoyed it. I was very sad that it was so short. I would have watched many more episodes. But that's the same as the live action show, but we won't talk about that because it makes me sad.
She's not bitter at all.
No.
I just say it as it is, lads. Say it as it is. But definitely, I think if you had to pick 3 TV series, animated TV series, that was the only animated TV series you could ever watch again, what would you pick?
Oh.
I'm giving you don't have to pick 3, but I'm giving you the option of 3.
Well, Batman the Animated Series is one.
Yep.
That I think we can all agree would be on the list for all of us.
Definitely.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going to say X-Men for me because that was it's a staple of my childhood and I loved every minute of it.
See, I loved the show, but I wouldn't put that in my list under these circumstances.
But see, because I'm a bit more nostalgic than you guys, though, let's be honest.
Hey, easy on the N-word.
I was going to say, you talk about, what was you, as a kid, what did you used to watch? Were you saying, Tracy?
X-Men.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was watching the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon. So.
Well, I can't help it that you're old, like Johnny. That's not my fault.
So nostalgic. You can't turn around and say that we don't have nostalgia.
Didn't say you didn't. I just said that's why I choose. I feel nostalgia a little bit more than you guys do.
I'm sensing a Jeopardy coming up soon. Just saying.
Oh no! I have decided I will never take part in Jeopardy again because I feel like when I get put on the spot, I forget everything, and then like just as somebody's about to say the answer, I'm like, damn it, I knew that one.
Your question though.
It's a good question.
Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond.
Johnny, tell us your ones.
So Josh, finish. So you got Fataz and you've got Batman Beyond.
Yep, and then
2 Batmans.
Yeah.
You want to spice it up a little bit with something else?
No, there's no need. No, I would actually say Spider-Man, the 90s cartoon.
Spider-Man.
Because that they made their seasons like a mini series where the entire season was one complete story arc.
Oh, I've got it.
I'm so happy for you, Johnny.
Yes.
Do you know what else, actually? Do you remember the Incredible Hulk from the 90s?
Are we talking about good shows or shit shows?
Talking about mediocre shows.
That's like X-Men's on the list. All right, okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
I was born ready.
Justice League.
Okay.
That's the whole thing, not just the Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited. I'm talking about the whole thing, the whole package. Boof. That's one show. Done. Second show, Young Justice.
Ooh.
And third show, it is the Batman. There you go.
Okay.
No Bataz for me.
No Taz for you.
No Bataz for me.
I'm kind of surprised by that, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I love Batman the Animated Series.
But you get that out of Justice League, along with having everybody else.
Yeah. And on top of that, I've seen the Batman the Animated Series so many times, I could quote scripts. So if I had to sit and watch it over and over and over, I'd be like, right. Whereas the Batman, there's enough of a different take on it. So you've got like the Loner seasons. Then you've got Batgirl, which is really underrated. Then you've got a really good Robin in there. And then you've got the Justice League towards the end. Justice League, you've got the Justice League. So you've got everyone on there. And then Young Justice, I think it's just the perfect mix of story. Well, season 1 and 2 especially, story and animation, where there's the overarching plot that you talk about for like the Spider-Man stuff, that's always hinted at and going at, and you have to be switched on to get bits. It's not just like
a Megan.
Yeah, it's not just like oh, I watched it for 20 minutes. There's always something going on, like season 1, who's the mole and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a really bad episode. I'm not enjoying season 3 as much as I thought I would. I don't know if there's just too many characters now, and also they've just done a cyborg origin piece, and it's like if I see another cyborg origin piece, I will literally.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of season 3 yet, even though they're there. I want to wait and then just have a one-day kind of splurge.
Just a thon. So yeah, those are my 3.
Yeah, just a thon.
So funny story. Talking about animated series and the maybe the impact that it has. Do you guys remember the episode Joker's Millions?
Yep.
So that episode, when I first saw it, this kind of helped me understand the purpose of paying taxes and not fucking with the IRS.
Not messing with the government.
Because Joker says, I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you. And I'm sitting there going, I realize this is a cartoon, but he has a point.
And he's like, damn, the IRS are badass. I bet you they were delighted. I bet you they got in 4 years' time, they had like the biggest, recruitment drive ever, because all these fans were like, yeah.
Could you imagine? And I realize, you guys don't live in the States, but could you imagine if the IRS did that as a social media push?
Yep.
Going into tax season, how well they would do.
It's all the little subconscious things that they put into TV shows, and that's one of them.
And that one has stuck with me ever since that show aired.
Yeah, and I say you pay your taxes on time and everything.
Oh, I as early as I'm allowed to file, I get that stuff done. Anyway, random thought, talking about animated series.
But because there are certain things where you think, oh God, you remember this. Like, I know, the way they brought the Killing Joke back out and they brought it into cinema. I had a friend of mine who'd never read or seen or done anything in comic books, and I brought her with me to see the Killing Joke. And I was like, right, this is going to be an easy thing to get her, and, the moment Joker, spoiler alert, pushes in through and like guns down certain people, she started to cry. And I'm looking at her going, holy shit, girl, what's wrong with you? And she went out and she bought the book, and then she said, I need to know more about this character. And then she went out and she bought all the Oracle stuff. Cool. And I was like, okay.
See, that's why. People, I'm sorry to interrupt. I really am sorry to interrupt. No. This is what pisses me off about the Killing Joke movie. People talk to me and say, oh, that 20 minutes we'll talk about Barbara and Batgirl and all this. Yeah. It's all bullshit. They should just kept to the book, man. It's not original. Blah, blah, blah. Whinge, whinge, whinge. Wrong. It's not for you, hard comic book fan who already has the damn thing. That 20 minutes, 30 minutes is to get the people who don't know jack shit about who Barbara Gordon is to invest in the character. And if you're not invested, by the time she gets shot, then you've missed the point of at least a good half of that book.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, well, she shouldn't have done this, she shouldn't have done that. Bullshit. The whole Batman Batgirl thing's been going on since the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was only in the 80s when it was like, oh, should it be Robin and Batgirl? But it's like, it just really frustrates me. The movie, I've bought the movie because I like the Killing Joke. I wouldn't say I love it. It's up there on my list. But but those 30 minutes with Batgirl in, up to the point where she gets shot, to me, because I love Batgirl so much as a character in her own right. Anyway, I get so involved. I can't watch it. I've seen. I went to the pictures and I watched it in the pictures. Thought it was great. Took a lot of flack from Comic Crusaders because I said the 20 minutes extra were great, and everyone told me I was talking out my hat.
I didn't. I supported you.
It's there in my my Blu-ray collection, and when that movie come out 2 years ago, something like that, I have not rewatched it yet.
Yeah.
Because that 30 minutes to me is just it's heartbreaking. So tell your friend I totally get it.
Yeah, but I totally got it as well. I was like, oh, like for somebody who wasn't a bit like, and don't get me wrong, she's the same age as me, so she knew about the X-Men TV show and the Spider-Man, and but she wasn't, so it was that were more her brother shows. She didn't really watch them. And to bring her to watch this, and then I thought, oh no, maybe she'll be more into, she'll want to read about the Joker, and that'll bring her into Harley, and it wasn't. She was like, I want to know more about Oracle. I was like, man, this is why you're my friend. We don't. I just introduce you to something and then you just run with it.
I think that's the purpose of these animated movies and animated TV shows, is it encourages people to go back and read the source material. I mean, you look at, and I realize it's a tangent, but you look at Under the Red Hood. I mean, after watching that, I went back and I did just that. I read the graphic novel, and to have Jensen Ackles' voice as Jason in my head made it that much more of an enjoyable read. Same thing with Court of Owls. I watched, Batman versus Robin, and then I went through and read Court of Owls and enjoyed the book even more and appreciated the book even more. And I'm actually looking at my copy signed by Scott Snyder. Sorry. Not sorry.
No, you're not.
You're right, I'm not. But I think that's kind of one of the unique things about this medium of comics that we have, is it opens up that opportunity. Same thing with Dark Knight Returns, to go back and read Frank Miller's. Same with Batman Year One. With X-Men, watching the episodes for Days of Future Past and then go back and read the books.
So many things.
Same thing with Spider-Man, and going up against the Sinister Six, or when he gets the black suit, going through all those. I think the animated world understands how to adapt the source material better than what live action could ever do.
Oh, completely. 110%. I agree. And then there's a kind of funny, quirky animated movies that have come out, like the TV shows, like the Batman and Harlequin that came out recently.
That was terrible.
I absolutely loved it, purely because Harley farts.
Is that the one with Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory as Harley?
No, it's Bernadette.
It's Bernadette, the one that plays
Bernadette.
Oh,
it's Bernadette? Oh. Because I know they have Kaylee in the new stuff.
First of all, she shags Nightwing, and then she starts farting in Batman's car. Like, it's hilarious. But the rest of it's crap. The rest of the movie's rubbish. Like, come on, like, Ivy, what you doing? Swamp Thing, actually, here I am, look at me, but I'm not going to interfere, and I'm going to go again. That was stupid.
I'm waiting for a weird relationship to sprout between Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy.
I don't see how it would be a weird relationship. I think it would be very,
Get it? It would sprout?
Sprout out, yeah. It would be a very harmonious relationship.
See, no, Harley. No, it's Ivy and Harley. That's who it should be. That's who it should be. And then the sooner the work on that and say, yeah, let's just accept it and that's where it is and just go with it. That's
just the way it is, because that's meant to be together.
Yeah, everybody will be better off. It's like Batwoman and Maggie. It's like, fine, Batman, put them together. It's great. It's the two people who love each other. It doesn't matter about gender. And
I agree.
although there'll be people who say, "Oh, it's really strong for the gender issue and blah 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 and sexuality issue and all that," and for some people it might be about that issue, but for me, it's two people that love each other. I don't care if it's Batman, Batwoman, Batgirl, Ivy, whatever. Yeah. But Harley and Ivy. To be honest though, I'm quite enjoying the Harley. I'm diversifying a little bit here. I quite like the Harley and Batgirl stuff in Heroes at the moment.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well said. Well said.
So yeah,
he does have moments, bless him.
I know. I'll forgive one of your PDMs from today. Just one.
So far. But like we get that as well. There's certain relationships that translate better in animated series than they do in movie format or whatever. Like we look at X-Men and we've got Gambit and Rogue.
Yes.
And they love each other, but they can't. Poor Rogue is the unattainable because she can't touch you, she can't kiss you, she can't. Yet he loves her, no matter what.
What a way to go, though, right?
Well, hey. You wouldn't say no, would you?
To Rogue? Nope.
Nope.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. Now, not like sucky Stackhouse Rogue, but animated Rogue.
No, not sucky Stackhouse Rogue. Rogue, no.
No. But there's those relationships. But then there's the lovely crossover relationships that come in the animated, and it's more in the movies. But you don't. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think it did happen in the cartoon as well, with Storm and Black Panther.
True. Happens in the comics.
Yeah, it happens in the comics, but I think there was. I think there was something. I think the cartoons touched on it as well. I don't know. It wasn't the X-Men series. It was another. I could be wrong.
That was the one I didn't watch.
I liked. We've talked about Marvel. The Ultimate Avengers movie. Yeah. I like the idea of Black Widow and Captain America. But never mind. Cool.
Just cause.
Just diametrically opposed, aren't they? One's a Russian, one's American. One's a Russian cold spy, and one's a super patriot. So, you can't watch Winter Soldier and think there's not friction between them.
I sense this could be the next episode of Dynamic Convergence.
Let's do that.
That's what we'll do.
I'd like to point out that this episode came about because of one statement made in the last episode. So that's how it's going to go. I like it.
I think that's how I'm going to be running it from now on, lads. Something will pop up and people go, "That's what we'll talk about next time." Then it just flows because it flows naturally because it's not there's no scripts, there's no pre-recording of ideas. It's just us talking about the things we love, and I think that's what makes this particular podcast so accessible to people, from die-hard fans to people who are just starting out. We love what we read. This. That's why you listen to us, and that's why we continue on doing things like this. And I'd be lost if it wasn't for the guys, because you guys are the ones who give me information on things that I don't know about, because there's lots out there that you can teach me, and I pass on stuff to you that you hate, and I make you read it anyway.
American Carnage is coming up soon, don't worry. Got it coming.
I won't be reading that. I didn't like it, remember?
I'm sorry. Well, I think you'll find that there will be this whole make you read stuff, so it's fine.
For that reference, listen to the most recent episode of the Definitive Crusade.
Yeah, I totally jumped the gun on that one. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. Then I wasn't. Ha ha.
Now you're gonna pay for it. Ha ha.
Okay, so Johnny, I believe you have a little surprise for us.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about animation, so we're going to try and have a game of Name That Tune. I have got lined up, he says, 7 different animated themes. All right, to guess, all you got to do is shout your name first, and then shout your name. Don't shout the title of the
your name.
Go on, Tracy. What is it?
I don't know. I just wanted to say your name.
Josh?
Is that... I want to say it's the Incredible Hulk.
It's not the Incredible Hulk.
Here we go.
Oh, wait, was that Beware the Batman?
Yay! Well done.
No way.
No points, because he had to actually tell you what the song was called for you to work it out.
Beware the...
Oh my god.
Nil point.
Nil point. All right, here you go. Here's the second one. Let me just close that one down so I don't get confused. Ready? Here we go.
Random.
Go on.
That is Spider-Man, but that's the original Spider-Man cartoon.
It is. Catch your thieves just like flies. Look out.
Here comes the Spider-Man.
All right. Easy one for you. Fingers on buzzers.
Random.
Go on.
Oh, that is X-Men.
That is X-Men. Well done.
I think I'm going to win this.
I need to turn the... my volume is down quite low because I can hear you guys, and I was going, I can't hear that. I was like, shit, it's down on like 4. That's why I couldn't hear it. Sorry, guys.
Tracy, I thought it was because you were enjoying it so much you got lost in, what did you call it? Nostalgia.
The nostalgia of listening to it, yeah.
All right, here we go. Curveball.
Curveball.
Curveball. What is it? No idea?
I want to say Thundercats, but no, it can't be.
Oh!
Is it? Yes!
You're on fire!
The remake version from the 2000 show.
And you know what's funny is that remake,
was shite.
I absolutely despise the remake. But there was that one moment, it's that sound effect that they have just before, it's like the riff, just before they go into the actual theme song. I heard that and I was like, oh, that was it.
Thundercats. Oh! Right, dead easy one.
Random.
Hang on. Go on then, what is it?
All right. That is Justice League, and it's also what is the theme song for the Definitive Crusade. I worked very closely with the audio guy. I knew that one within the first 2 frames.
Look at you. You BFFs with the audio guy.
Well, yeah. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you know.
Hey, someone's got to be friends with him, though.
That's true.
Here we go. Penultimate one. Tracy, you're doing terrible. Just
I got the last one, but that was at the same time as Josh. Tracy, is that Young Justice?
Yes, it is Young Justice. Yay! Well done. Season 1, Young Justice.
Yeah. In all transparency, I've never seen Young Justice. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's really good. You should watch it.
Here we go.
Random.
Go on.
Batman Beyond.
Very swear. Well done.
Yeah. You're the winner, Josh. Hooray!
I survived one of Johnny's games. Yay!
Well, I did about the same as I normally do. I normally get one or two. I'm just not quick enough.
You know, a lot of those, like, because I associate, memories with songs and things like that, a lot of those songs, they stick out in my mind. So that's why I was so quick on the draw. Young Justice, in all honesty, I've never seen it, so I kind of screwed the pooch with that one.
That's okay. We'll let you away with it this time.
Well, I thought I had to, because I knew with the Spider-Man one, I had to clarify or specify which one, because just my luck, Johnny would have been like, which one?
Yeah.
What do you mean, just your luck? That's exactly what I would have said.
Exactly.
This ain't my first rodeo with your games, so
We all know how you like to play, Johnny.
And on that note...
And on that note, I'd like to thank my two wonderful cohorts, my, dynamic crusaders. Guys, thank you for being here with me.
You're more than welcome.
It was a blast, as always.
Awesome, as always. And we will be back next month with some more interesting conversations. So, bye, guys.